Morning, everyone, or afternoon, as it may be. Thanks for joining me, Loyola Academy in Detroit. Welcome, and we're going to take a look just to kind of refine a couple things. We're still in Module 2. We've got until October 26th to finish it. So you should have already started the discussion board, the readings. A lot of you have already posted your Module 2 live session question from last week. So looks like everybody's off to a good start. You really want to start refining that thesis this week. So let's go ahead and click here to log on. And I'm actually gonna just minimize this one. And since I'm sharing my screen with you, let's just kind of go over the fine points for literature and humanities for Module 2. So we've got our discussion about literature, our thesis and outline. This is the biggie because this is the outline that's going to be for that big paper in week 5. We've got our quiz too, based on the readings, and then you want to make sure you submit that live lecture to key answers. Some of you have already done that, which is fantastic. So you want to come back and share your impressions of one of the stories this week. I think you guys got to kind of understand this from last week, so I won't spend too much time on it, but make sure that you do this if you haven't. Choose one of these stories, or you can choose another story, like someone had chosen The Outsiders. That was fine. Just make sure you give us the name and the author of who you're going to report on. So you want to have that initial posting telling us what story you're talking about and tell us how you think it contributes to all of us as humans. So a successful thesis statement, once again, is that one sentence. It's a statement, not a question, and it identifies the subject of the paper. Take a stand rather than simply announcing a subject. So these are some of the key elements for that thesis statement, for the thesis and outline that's due on the 26th. I'll leave that up there for a minute. So what to look for, right? Avoid burying it late in the paper. Be as clear and specific as possible. Tell us what the paper is about. So if your paper, you don't want to say the point of my paper is, that's too simple, right? Tell us what the paper is about. So I've got a couple examples here. I've got a student example here that I put up here. I'm just going to hide that one for a while. Let's move this one up. All right, so this is a student submission from last term. So so you want to make sure you have your title page, right? And you can start thinking about a title. Instead of just saying thesis and outline, this happens to be about grades. I'm just going to change that title to literature grades. Okay, but you can be more specific. So this thesis and outline starts off with Roman numeral 1, and this student chose Agatha Christie and J.K. Rowling are the two most important female authors in history. Their second point is reading is starting to become a thing of the past for some cultures and people. Agatha Christie and J.K. Rowling bring stories into the hands of readers and transport them into new worlds and storylines that help readers escape from everyday living. This is excellent for a thesis. It tells us who it's about and how they contribute to the humanities, right? Everybody wants to read something that's going to transport them from everyday living, right? That's how you connect to the humanities here. All right, the Roman numeral 2, right? We've got that body paragraph. First point of evidence, they talk about how Agatha Christie was the first in women's writing, right? They've got a quote. Another example coming from the Orient Express, a specific example. A second supporting evidence is J.K. Rowling has been acknowledged for getting children and young teens to read. And some quotes from J.K. Rowling. Third body of evidence is talking about how readers' perspective take them to a new place. It's very rare. And then they've got some other quotes here, one that kind of connects to Benjamin Franklin, and then Agatha Christie. So the conclusion summarizes in this thesis and outline project what you've shown us. How did you prove that these two people are great? All right. How did you prove that these two people contribute to the humanities? That's what you want to show us. So that's what you want to have in that outline. So this is just one example of what you need to do, right, to create that thesis and outline, APA format. Also look at the study guide for thesis and outline. This is located, and I've emailed this to you as well, under course materials. This is where it's at. Okay, if you click on this, you're going to get this. Okay, and it gives you another example of how to write an outline, a sample outline for any topic. All right, so if you just kind of follow this and plug your own information in there, that's what I'm looking for this week. All right, and then maybe you've got a couple references. Okay, be sure and do that. That's all I'm looking for this October 26th thesis and outline. Right, study the guidelines for your thesis. Create a quality essay for your humanities project. Remember, a strong thesis statement is usually an indicator of a great paper. All right. This gives you also another example of how to fine tune it, and you can kind of read that on your own. Okay. But I just wanted to kind of iterate that again for module 2. So you have some guidelines. I kind of keep getting the same question. Where is that information that kind of describes the project? Go back to module 1 under lesson content, and make sure you're clicking on all these tabs here so you get all the information. Here's join the humanities. If you scroll down, here's the humanities paper introduction, right? This tells you what you want to write about. Okay, because I kind of get the same question. Can I just write about anything? No, you can't. Okay, all right. In the humanities part, you will compare and contrast 2 figures from the humanities, focusing on their contributions and achievements. You will choose some of the earliest figures dating as far back as the 14th century, all the way up to the 20th century, and compare that figure to a current but relevant figure of the humanities. So simply stated, one person from the past, one person from the present. Okay, the project should reflect your understanding of the people, right, and their artistic flair that made them stand out amongst the rest. Okay, so I know I have had a couple of questions about doing sports. I'm okay with sports figures, but if you can connect them to maybe more than just the sport, maybe whatever their charity causes are, that might connect a little closer to this assignment. All right, if you're going to choose sports figures, make sure you're including their achievements as humans as well as sports figures. Okay, so big project overview. This is what's going to be due end of next week. And then the paper part is due in module 5. Okay, but that's down the road. That's not till December. Okay, so check your calendar, right? Always check the calendar for deadlines. Go back, scroll up here. Here's the calendar. All right, we're already October 17th. Okay. Our Module 2 quiz is due on the 22nd. Everything for Module 2 is due on the 26th. So pay attention to the stuff in green. The blue is my other class. Sorry, guys. I can't eliminate it. It's on there permanently. So everything in green is the deadlines for this class for Loyola Academy. Okay? So you've got your peer post. You've got your quiz due on next Monday. You've got your peer post for the discussion board for Module 2 due on Tuesday. Everything is due on the 26th for Module 2. And then you'll begin Module 3. And if you get Module 2 done early, start on Module 3, okay? There's no shame in working ahead, all right, if you're already done. All right, that's pretty much what I have for you. Let me, maybe a couple more points on that PowerPoint here. Let me take a look. So key points for what I'm looking for, right? Indicate the point of your paper, but don't do too basic of a sentence structure, right? Be as clear and specific as possible, right? It should explain on how each person influences all of us as humans. Here's another example. Hillary Clinton and Annie Lennox influence us as positive change agents for government fairness and equal rights for women. All right. Here's another example of who you could choose. All right. Here's that sample outline again. This is found in the course materials that I just showed you, right? Introduction has your opening to capture interest, transition sentence that leads to the thesis statement, right? This is what your outline should look like, but filled in, of course, with your subject matter. And we looked at that example of Agatha Christie, and J.K. Rowling was another example that you could use, right? Your conclusion should wrap up your essay, right? Summarize, let me go back one. It should summarize your thesis. Don't just simply repeat your thesis. Reiterate the thesis while finalizing your thoughts on the entire topic. Okay, that's what I have for you today. Because since we're kind of continuing on here, there's no need for me to go over everything again. We kind of did that last week. So let me just go back to the Rasmussen home. I did post a new announcement for us today. Here, we'll take a look. All right, just kind of going over Let's just look at the whole announcement here. And I need to change that. Labor Day. Labor Day was last term. Let me take that off. A thesis statement, focus your ideas on 1 or 2 sentences, should present the topic of your paper and also make a comment about your position in relation to the topic. Your thesis should tell your reader what the paper is about and also help your writing and keep your argument focused. So, and here's just kind of the answer. You can read that on your own, but that's the new, I'll make sure I take that Happy Labor Day off because that was a while ago. All right, thanks so much, guys. That's all I have for you. Let me find my Google Chrome again. Thanks so much for joining me. Have good luck, and let me email me or text me if you have any questions.